Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are here in late July in South Dakota and we're going to do a 2-month update on our Should You Plant Your Tomatoes Deeper video. So we're going to take a look at these determinate and indeterminate tomatoes and see if we can see any difference between the ones that we planted at soil level and the ones that we planted 2 inches deeper than what they came. Let's take a look. So this first one here was planted at ground level, and as you can see, he's doing very well. All the way to the top of this 5-foot trellis already. This is an indeterminate variety. We come down here to our next plant. It's another indeterminate variety. You see, looks really good again. A little bit smaller than the other one, but this one was planted 2 inches deeper than what it came. It's got a couple less tomatoes on it than the other one, and it's not quite as tall, but pretty close. And the next one here was planted at ground level. And as you can see again, all the way up past the top of the trellis. Very healthy, looks very good. Lots of tomatoes on that one. And we got over here to the middle of the garden. For some reason these tomatoes didn't do quite as well, but this one here was planted 2 inches deeper than what it came. Still a healthy looking plant, not nearly as tall as the other ones. It's only about 3 foot tall, but plenty of tomatoes on there. You know, still pretty healthy, doesn't look too bad. I'll go over to the next one here. This one was planted at soil level. As you can see, very healthy plant. About the same amount of tomatoes as the other one, about 3 foot tall like the other one. But the tomatoes on the one planted at ground level are significantly larger than the biggest tomatoes on this one right next to it that was planted 2 inches deeper. Again, this one was planted 2 inches deeper. Very narrow stem. Pretty good sized tomatoes on this one though. About 4 foot tall. Looks pretty good. Same thing with this one, planted at ground level. Looks pretty good. Again, the tomatoes are significantly larger. And these are all the same variety of indeterminate tomato. And we got some Cherokee purples down here. I'll show you this one here. This one here was planted 2 inches deeper. You can see it's got several tomatoes on there. Looks pretty good. Nice and healthy, about 3 foot tall. Let's come over to the next one, which was planted at ground level. And it's a much larger plant. A lot more fruit on. Tons and tons of tomatoes on. Very big tomatoes, as you can see there. One thing I will mention is that it seems like the ones that were planted at ground level seem to have a tendency to push over in the wind a little easier than those that were planted 2 inches deeper. But the ones planted at ground level are producing bigger tomatoes. If we come over to the other side of the fence here, see if we can find our plant here. Right there. This one was planted at ground level. Again, all the way up to the top of the trellis. And this one is a determinate variety. Very healthy. Lots and lots of fruit hanging all over the place on that one. The same thing on this one. This one was planted 2 inches deeper. As you can see, lots and lots of tomatoes, but a significantly smaller plant. Does not go anywhere near the top of the trellis there. Still putting on lots of fruit. The fruits on these two are about the same size, about the same number of fruit, even though the other plant is bigger. Go over to the next one. Again, planted at ground level. Some really big tomatoes on there. It's about a 3-foot tall plant. Very, very healthy. Lots of fruit on that one. You come over to the one that was planted 2 inches deeper. Significantly smaller plant. This one's barely 2 foot tall. As you can see, it branched way out, and it's putting on lots and lots of fruit. But they're much, much smaller than the plant right next to it that was planted at ground level. Come down to the end here. We have a different variety of determinate tomato. This one's getting a little bit of early blight. This one was planted at ground level. Lots and lots of tomatoes, about 2.5 foot tall. Really healthy looking plant, other than that little bit of early blight there forming on the bottom. I need to trim that off. And you come over here to the plant right next to it, which is about 6 to 8 inches shorter than the one that was planted at ground level. This one was planted 2 inches deeper than what it came. Still lots and lots of tomatoes, very healthy looking, but just a smaller plant overall. And then finally on the end, planted 2 inches, or planted at ground level, a significantly larger plant, much more tomatoes. And once again, absolutely massive tomatoes on that plant planted at ground level. I have one over here that was also planted at ground level. Absolutely massive tomato. This thing probably weighs well over 2 pounds already, and it's not even starting to turn color yet. The stem is actually about ready to snap off. I might have to put that in a hammock just to support that. But this plant here was planted at ground level. So far, not a whole lot of difference between the two. Fruit do seem to be larger on the ones that are planted at ground level. That's just an observation. Haven't really harvested that many tomatoes yet. They're starting to turn. Haven't seen any blossom end rot on any of the tomatoes, regardless if they were planted deeper or not. So that's our 2-month update on our tomatoes. So far, not a whole lot of difference. You can see the size of the plants and the tomatoes are a little bit larger than those that were planted at ground level. And my assumption would be is that because they weren't planted as deep, they were planted into warmer soil towards the surface, which didn't stunt the plants when I transplanted them out, which allowed them to get a little more of a head start over the ones that were planted 2 inches deeper. They may catch up later on in the season, but I hope you found this video informative. I'll be trying to do another update here probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. I'll put a link to the original video in the comment section below, or in the description below, as well as a link to products that I use and recommend. And until next time, everybody, keep growing.